Some people are maybe born being experts on how to love themselves, how to be there for themselves, showing up as their own best friend and forgiving every single mistake that they've made, while the rest of us have to learn it. So if you also struggle with self-hate, self-sabotage, not knowing how to forgive your past mistakes, feeling like you are at a constant war with yourself and you don't know how to love yourself, I will share with you in this video one of the most powerful processes that I found and actually discovered quite by accident when I was in the middle of this paralyzing feeling of hating myself, where it felt like parts of me were internally screaming at me and wanting to self-destruct essentially. My name is Anjali. I just share with you lessons that I learned from making mistakes in life, because God knows I need to stick my nose in, make the mistake, and then learn from it. That's how I learn. So first, before we can get into it, I really want you to understand where self-hatred comes from. For the most part, it comes from abandoning yourself. It comes because parts of you are at war. It comes because you don't show up for yourself, and because you don't show up for yourself, you start to hate yourself. And I discovered this again pretty recently just by purely being with the emotion. Because sometimes what happens is, if you do something, if you feel like you are angry at yourself, or you constantly self-sabotage, or you criticize everything that you do, most of the time you're not okay with those feelings. Like, you have a feeling and you say, no, you lift the rug, the metaphorical rug, and you take that feeling and you're like, not okay, I don't like it, I don't want to feel this way, and you ignore that feeling and it doesn't go anywhere. In fact, this is why it's so persistent and it keeps coming up and you keep experiencing it, because it is asking you to heal it. That part of you, it is asking to be healed. So that's my goal with you in this video. And the process I will show you, number one, is Ho'oponopono. And this is an ancient Hawaiian practice that people use actually to heal other people. I've never seen it talked about to direct it towards yourself. But this is what I did, and this is what works, because you are also, in a sense, a separate person. Separating yourself from yourself is such a powerful thing that can really change your life if you do it correctly. So Ho'oponopono basically is just 4 statements. It's, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And people use these in meditations to help forgive others, because it is based in the idea and the understanding that the world is like a mirror, and our perceptions of other people are our perceptions, and our perceptions of those people create them. They're not actual truth of what that person is. So when we do this statement, my interpretation and how I apply it and how I understand it, and in my opinion, it makes it more powerful than just like mindlessly rambling the words. No, okay? We're not just gonna ramble affirmations, okay? No, we're gonna do it with intention, because intention is what heals. It's not so much the words. The words have power, yes, but it's your feeling and the intention behind it. So basically the way this works is you say, I am sorry for seeing you this way. I am sorry that my perception of you is that you're not whole. I am sorry for how I see you. Please forgive me, because I know that you have it within you to forgive. Thank you for forgiveness. Thank you for being who you are. And I love you because you deserve to be loved, because we're all part of the same thing. We're all made of the same thing. And I love you because you deserve to be loved. And so I want you to take these 4 statements and this understanding. And when you have a feeling of self-hatred, take these statements and apply it intentionally to that part of you that is hurt. And it's okay if it doesn't make sense. What I did was, I will share with you an example that hopefully will help to illustrate how I do this, because I discovered this by accident. Again, I'm an official expert at self-sabotage, hating myself, because I've done it so many times that I really had to learn how to forgive myself, how to stand back up, how to learn to love yourself, accept who you are. So basically, I was experiencing this feeling where you know what to do. You always know what to do. You know what's correct for you, but you don't listen to it. You abandon yourself. And that self-abandonment is what causes self-hatred. So for me, this comes as a very strong internal feeling. When something is not correct for me, I have a very strong, sharp anxiety. It's not nerves, it's a very distinct anxiety feeling where I just feel something is wrong. This should not be happening. This something is just wrong. And I've learned to identify it and listen to it. But the times I don't listen to it, it ends up being very traumatizing for me. Whether it's I go to work and I have this anxiety and I don't leave, traumatizing every time. So I learned to listen to this. But I didn't listen to it one time. And after that, of course, it was very traumatizing experience for me, as they always are. Nothing life-threatening, but just like harsh mentally and emotionally. And after that, I was hit with a wave of self-hating, self-loathing. It was like my internal parts were screaming and they wanted to destroy, but it was not coming out because it was not directed at anything. It was directed at me. And I said, I don't understand this feeling. I should not feel this way. We take, every time we have an emotion, we take it, metaphorically lift the rug and we shove it under the rug. We say, you don't belong here. I should not feel this. This is not valid. This doesn't make sense. Making sense does not have to be a requirement for that thing to exist. So what I did was, when I had this feeling, I've had it in the past, and in the past I would always shove it under a rug. I'd say, you're not important, I shouldn't feel this. But now I just sat with it. I said, I don't understand you. I don't know what you are. And by the way, it's very paralyzing. Usually when we do something, like we make a mistake or we do something against ourselves, it's not always a mistake per se. It's just, you always know what to do. You just don't listen to it. You abandon yourself. And as a result, parts of you hate you for it. So parts of me were screaming at me. They're like, why do you do this? And I just sat there and I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. Please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I am sorry for what I did. I don't understand, but I'm sorry for seeing you as broken. Please forgive me for the fact that I did this. I don't know any better. Please just forgive me. I know you can. Thank you, because I know it's already done. I know you have it within you to forgive me. And I love you because you just want to be loved. And I sent this to this part of me that was screaming at me internally. And I did it mentally several times over. And then another thing I want you to do also that I did is separating yourself from yourself. So in that moment, I took me out of myself and I looked at myself as if I was another person. So if I was another person, if there was a human just like you, but separate from you, they had the same qualities, the same aspects, the same past, and the same wounding, and they made that mistake or they made that decision, how would you react towards them? We usually tend to have a lot more love towards other people than ourselves. It's especially true if you struggle with self-hate. You usually have a lot more love to other people. You forgive them. You're like, oh, it's okay. I understand that you didn't mean to yell at me. You didn't mean to do this. You didn't mean to whatever. It's okay. I love you, right? We do this to other people, but we don't do it to ourselves. It's almost like the rules you have for yourself are turned up to the max compared to other people, compared to the rules you have for other people for what is acceptable, what is okay, what you will and will not tolerate. There is a huge gap there. So we want to close that gap, and we can close that gap by learning to understand that everyone is the same human. Like, you're not a different creature than them. You're also human. You're capable of making mistakes, and you're capable of fixing them, and you're capable of forgiving yourself. Sorry if my voice is kind of gone, okay? God did not approve of my first take of this video, and the audio got completely jabbered. I don't know what happened to it. It was completely off from the video. So I have to redo this. So this is a lot of talking for me. But we do this and we don't understand that we have to distance. You have to separate yourself from yourself, because you are not this human. You are given this body, like we are given this body, this experience for a short time period here on earth. And don't waste this precious time getting stuck on coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, listen, coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. Point. Period. Forget it. Okay? It doesn't matter. Coulda, woulda, shoulda I get so annoyed. I'm like, the only point, the only use of could have, would have, should have is to learn your lesson. Okay? Why could have it been? Learn your lesson. Take that lesson, write it down on a piece of notebook, and then forget. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't care coulda, woulda, shoulda. What did you learn? And how can you apply this now? Because when you apply this now, chances are coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't will turn into did. So it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It matters what you do with what happened. It matters how you use it. And are you going to stay stuck in that old story? Or are you going to accept that it's okay because that time on this life is finite? And I was really debating if I want to share this, but I was given an okay to share it, so I will share it. I just came back from visiting my mom, because what happened is that she had a car accident a couple weeks ago, and I was unable to go then, so I went pretty recently, and I was pretty shaken by what happened. I would be lying if I said the shock is over. Okay, I still sometimes feel like I'm like shaken by it, because we don't know how long we have with the people in life. We don't know how long we have this body and this life for. And thank God my mom is okay. Thankfully she is okay. There was, some things she still has to deal with, of course, post the accident. The car is totally wrecked. The car is like literally got towed, and like it's goodbye the car. So it's the potential of what could have happened that was so shocking for me that I still feel shaken by it. And it's just understanding that none of us are exempt from it. None of us are exempt from accidents in life. We're not exempt from anything. And sometimes it takes a huge shock to your system to shake you back into balance and for you to get your priorities right. And we're sometimes so asleep. We get asleep, and by the way, I'm calling myself out too. It's just sometimes you need a reminder that what matters is not what happened. What matters is not what this person said or did. What matters is that you have a life, one life, and you have a human, and one body to experience. You're like an awareness experiencing through this human. So learning to love yourself and forgive yourself and to stop hating yourself, it's like learning to honor and appreciate this creation that you've been given and make friends with it. And understand that it's not your fault that you are this way. It's not your fault that you are this way, that you did those things. You simply didn't know any better. Sometimes we have an easier time again forgiving other people because we don't identify with it. We don't claim the other person as you, right? Like, unless sometimes parents can be so harsh on their kids because parents think that kids are an extension of them. So parents usually project their own limitations, their own secret rules and insecurities onto their kids because they see it as extension of them. But again, if you learn to separate from you, if you learn to see that what happened to you in your past was not your fault, and as a result, you don't have the right to blame yourself for the way that you are. It is, however, your responsibility to moving forward, to be fully here for you and to be okay with the fact that sometimes that's just what you need. Sometimes maybe what you need, what your inner being is telling you. I feel like every time I tap my microphone, that's what messed up the audio last time. Okay, tap. Please work. Please don't do this to me again. I don't want to shoot a third set. Whatever. I lost a train of thought. I think accepting yourself is really the key when it comes to self-love and to release the self-hate. And you can learn to accept yourself by understanding that you can separate yourself, your awareness, from your human. See yourself as a separate thing. When I did that, when I looked at myself as a separate thing, I was like, oh my god, this thing is so cute. It's just doing its best. I love it. I was like, I love you. But when I'm thinking that I am this thing, when I'm thinking that I am me, I hate it. I'm like, oh, you didn't do this right. This is not right. Just like parents, right? Sometimes we live out the script and the criticism of our parents in our heads, because this is what we're used to. We forget the fact that this is your brain, this is your thoughts, this is your body. You get to decide what goes in and out, onto it, into it. You get to decide it. We forget that because we're so identified and almost like we fell victim to our own thoughts and our own brains and our own stories. And as a result, we are so harsh on ourselves. But would you be the same harsh on a child or your best friend or another person? I really said another person because I think I, at least in the past, used to struggle a lot with just like loving everybody and just like forgiving people for things that I should not forgive them for. But like, I can't hold a grudge. I'm sorry, just I can't do it. It's not worth my energy. I'm like, if I'm holding a grudge, I'm wasting my precious energy to be mad at your like, why? No. So I don't hold grudges, but I just learned that you don't have to hold a grudge to set boundaries, to do things, to do things differently, to not speak to those people, to, you know, you can forgive, but not forget. There's a big difference. And so I think it's also about learning that you can do that with yourself. You don't have to be mad at yourself or hate parts of you. You can simply say, okay, I understand I did this. I didn't know any better. You can ask that part of you, what need is not met? What need is this part of you trying to meet? Because no feeling is random. You know, things do not exist in a vacuum. I totally am losing my voice. I am so sorry. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Literally gone. I've been talking, I think, at this point for an hour now because the first video did not work. So again, I could sit here and I could be harsh on myself, right? Look at you. You can't even make a video. You can't do nothing right. But like, why does it matter? The past is over. You can learn from it, or you can, just like that video from Lion the King, right? Where I don't know names, okay? I'm horrible with names. Do not ask me names. They don't make no sense to me. Like when the monkey like whips the stick over the lion's head.
I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah, you see? So what are you going to do?
And the lion is like, oh, that hurt, but he learned from it.
So what are you going to do?
First, I'm gonna take your stick.
No, not a stick.
You learn from every single thing that you do. So don't see your past mistakes as failures. Don't see it as something to hate yourself for, to berate yourself for. Don't look at it like you could have done better and as a result your self-worth is affected. No, detach your self-worth from actions. Your self-worth is not ingrained in your actions. Because you do something or don't do something does not mean you're more or less worthy. You're the same worthy. So detach your self-worth from the stuff that you did or didn't do, and understand that the things you did or didn't do simply serve as an experience, as a reference point, as a memory, as a thing that you get to choose to then have a different experience. If you don't like something, okay, I don't like this, I don't prefer to behave this way going forward, change it. If you don't like it, then change it. If you cannot change it, it's because part of you doesn't want to change it. Part of you likes it, you just don't admit it to yourself. Sometimes we literally lie to ourselves, okay? We gaslight ourselves. Again, been there, done that, which is why I'm even saying this. It's because been there, done that, okay? Sometimes we gaslight ourselves and we don't even allow ourselves to see our own truth because we've not been conditioned that it's okay to have that truth. But I just want to tell you that it's okay to have whatever feelings you have. It's valid. Once you stop judging them, once you start separating yourself from yourself, once you start sending love to those parts of you that are hurting, that are uncomfortable, that you want to desperately run away from, because I know sometimes it can be paralyzing, it can be overwhelming, and you want to take the rug and put it under it. But once you stop doing that, once you start sitting with it, literally sit with it. I was in a cocoon. I was on my bed like this, okay? Curled up in a ball, trying to sit with that feeling because it made no sense to me. I was like, bro, you should not exist. You don't make sense. I should not feel like this. But I feel like this. So I was just in bed and my thing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna feel you. I'm gonna let you be here. It's here for a reason. Let me talk to it. Let me speak with it. Let me experience it. Let me feel it. Let me stop abandoning parts of myself because I don't think that they are valid, because they're not fluffy and happy and good. Listen, things are good and bad because you define it as such when they exist within you, because of definitions that you have. Other than that, they're all just feelings. What makes it good or bad is what you do with it. If you take negative emotions and you act it out, like when I was angry and parts of me were screaming at me, if I take that anger and I externalize it to other people, if we blame, like if I blame the world for it, it becomes evil. If I do something negative with it, it becomes evil. But if I don't, if I sit with it and I say, okay, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, I love you, how can we learn? How can we do better? How can I take this lesson and understand that you always know this feeling that you have of something is off or random anxiety is not actually random? How can I take this and really integrate it even more? That yes, this feeling that you have is right or whatever. That for me, that was the lesson anyways, but like learning from it, how can I learn from this? How can I benefit somehow from my own experience moving forward with this discomfort? It loses power. You no longer have to externalize it. Eventually, it gets easier and easier, and at first, for me at least, it was again overpowering, paralyzing, overwhelming. The more I sat with it, the more I sent the Ho'oponopono to it. I said, I'm sorry for making a mistake, for abandoning you. Like, I'm sorry. Say that to yourself. That's what I did. I said it to myself, to this inner wounded part of you. I am sorry for abandoning you. Please forgive me. I didn't know any better. I'm just learning. Thank you for forgiving me because I know that you will. And I love you because you deserve to be loved, and I just love you. I don't need a reason to love you. Do this to those parts of you. And those parts of you, most likely, are just wounded inner child aspects of you that you don't have to understand. You don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to dissect your whole entire family drama. It can be helpful, but it's powerful to do it in the moment. When it comes up, life gives you opportunities to heal and to release every single feeling that you have just in the moment. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that this audio of this take turns out okay, because I'm not about to make this again. This has been too many takes. Okay, that said, sending you lots of love. Thank you for being who you are, exactly how you are, because the way that you are is the way you're meant to be. And we're all learning. We're just learning. That's it. It's okay. It's okay. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.